I carried your distance, every tear that no one knew. I held the love you barely offered, while you barely held me too. I carried your distance, through whispers, through the lies. I stayed while everything between us slowly crumbled into skies. Some distances are invisible, but heavy enough to crush. Do you remember when we were home? Before space became a wall, before love felt like negotiations, before I feared losing all, I stayed faithful to the memory. I felt it in the space between your words, the pauses you left that I could not fill. Every glance that looked through me, every touch that was careful still. You were here but not with me. You smiled but something stayed away. I carried your distance quietly, like a stone I could never set down. I held your silence in my chest, measured every sigh, every breath. I told myself it wasn't dying, that love could survive this death. I reached for you in empty rooms, touched memories where you once bloomed. I held your absence close to my heart, pretended I could carry every part. I carried your distance through nights you weren't aware. I held the spaces you left empty, though you didn't seem to care. I carried your distance while my own heart broke in two. I gave my love in full measure, but you only left a view. I learned your absence like a second skin, traced the patterns of your retreat. I spoke when silence begged for words, smiled when sorrow bound my knees. I carried conversations alone, answered questions you never asked, loved you fiercely in quiet corners, while you learned how to leave unmasked. I blamed myself for the miles, thought I could feel what wasn't mine. But love isn't carried in one hand, it doesn't survive without the line. I stayed loyal to a fading flame, ignored the warning in your name. I carried your distance like a chain that wrapped around me quietly in pain. I carried your distance, every tear that no one knew. I held the love you barely offered, while you barely held me too. I carried your distance, through whispers, through the lies. I stayed while everything between us slowly crumbled into skies. Some distances are invisible, but heavy enough to crush. Do you remember when we were whole? before space became a wall, before love felt like negotiations, before I feared losing all, I stayed faithful to the memory of who you were beside me. I love the echo of your heart, even when it drifted silently. I blame myself for your silence, thought maybe love was my fault. But love can't survive on one heart alone, or carry a distance too vast to hold. I carry the weight of every shadow, every absence, every unspoken line. I held your distance like a lifeline, while secretly counting time. I told myself endurance was love, that staying and holding on. But love isn't heavy like this, it's not meant to be a burden long. I watched you drift while I anchored, protected you from the truth I felt, kept every tear, every ache quiet, and hoped somehow we'd melt. Tell me, did you notice the spaces I held, the moments I tried to bridge? I carried your distance silently, while you never reached back, never willed. I carried your distance, every sigh, every fall. I held the love between us, while you didn't hear my call. I carried your distance, while pretending it was small. But distance is a heavy thing when you're carrying it for all. I learned to love with one hand, to give without receiving. I stayed present in the shadows while your heart was leaving. I smiled through the fractures, tried to make the pieces whole. But distance is a quiet thief that slowly steals the soul. I wasn't asking for perfection, just effort, just truth. But love shouldn't feel like guessing, or waiting for the missing proof. I carried your distance till it became my own. I held the empty spaces where your love had never grown. I stayed while leaving was easier, hoped when hope was faint. I held the fragments of what we were, while pretending it was pain. I carry the cold of every absence, the unspoken, unseen ache. I thought if I endured enough, you'd be too. I felt it in the space between your words, the pauses you left that I could not fill. Every glance that looked through me, every touch that was careful still. You were here but not with me. You smiled but something stayed away. I carried your distance quietly, like a stone I could never set down. I held your silence in my chest, measured every sigh, every breath. I told myself it wasn't dying that love could survive this death. I reached for you in empty rooms, touched memories where you once bloomed. I held your absence close to my heart, pretended I could carry every part. I carried your distance through nights you weren't aware. I held the spaces you left empty, though you didn't seem to care. I carried your distance while my own heart broke in two. I gave my love in full measure, but you only left a view. Numbed your absence like a second skin, traced the patterns of your retreat. I spoke when silence begged for words, smiled when sorrow bowed my knees. I carried conversations alone, answered questions you never asked, loved you fiercely in quiet corners, while you learned how to leave unasked. I blame myself for the miles, thought I could feel what wasn't mine. But love isn't carried in one hand, it doesn't survive without the line. I stayed loyal to a fading flame, ignored the warning in your name. I carried your distance like a chain that wrapped around me quietly in pain. I carried your distance, every tear that no one knew. I held the love you barely offered, while you barely held me too. I carried your distance through whispers, through the lies. I stayed while everything between us slowly crumbled in disguise. Some distances are invisible, but heavy enough to crush. Do you remember when we were whole? Before space became a wall, before love felt like negotiations, before I feared losing all. I stayed faithful to the memory of who you were beside me. I love the echo of your heart, even when it drifted silently. I blame myself for your silence, thought maybe love was my fault. But love can't survive on one heart alone, or carry a distance too vast to halt. I carried the weight of every shadow, every absence, every unspoken line. I held your distance like a lifeline, while secretly counting time. I told myself endurance was love, that staying meant holding on. But love isn't heavy like this, it's not meant to be a burden on. I watched you drift while I anchored, protected you from the truth I felt, kept every tear, every ache quiet, and hoped somehow we'd melt. Tell me, did you notice the spaces I held? The moments I tried to bridge? I carried your distance silently, while you never reached back, never willed. I carried your distance, every sigh, every fall. I held the love to give without receiving. I stayed present in the shadows while your heart was leaving. I smiled through the fractures, tried to make the pieces whole, but distance is a quiet thief that slowly steals the soul. I wasn't asking for perfection, just effort, just truth. But love shouldn't feel like guessing or waiting for the missing proof. I carried your distance till it became my own. I held the empty spaces where your love had never grown. I stayed while leaving was easy. I hoped when hope was faint. I held the fragments of what we were while pretending it was pain. I carried the cold of every absence, the unspoken, unseen ache. I thought if I endured enough, I saw it in the mornings, you weren't awake. The way your eyes avoided mine, like they had secrets I couldn't reach, or memories that left you behind. We spoke the same words, but they felt hollow, like echoes in a room we couldn't find. I held my hand over my chest, afraid I'd lose you before the time. I remember the laughter fading, the way our smiles became slow rehearsals. I kept hoping it was temporary, but the silence said what the heart wouldn't tell us. I didn't ask the questions that burned inside. I swallowed the fears I couldn't confide. I held on to the pieces of us while you drifted farther from my side. I watched us fall slowly, like leaves caught in the wind, each moment slipping quietly, like it never even began. I watched us fall slowly, holding on to what remained. I tried to mend the cracks of love, but love wasn't mine to save. I learned to read your absence before it even arrived. Every word that trailed off, every glance that denied. I tried to fill the spaces you left with memories of us intact. But time doesn't wait for broken hearts, it teaches endings without tact. I stayed in the almost, the in-between, trying to patch up held the fading shadows close while you were learning how to let go. I stayed awake while the world moved on, counting the ways I could be wrong, but leaving felt like giving up, so I lingered silently strong. I watched us fall slowly, like a river losing its flow. Every laugh, every touch, becoming whispers of hello. I watched us fall slowly, while pretending nothing hurt. I held the love we almost had, though it had left inverted and blurred. Some endings don't announce themselves, they creep in quietly unnoticed. Do you remember when we were fearless, before distance became a wall, before love felt like negotiation, and hearts were destined to stall? I stayed loyal to the ghost of us, to the memory of your gaze. I loved what was no longer here, and hoped it might remain. I blamed myself for your distance, believed if I loved harder I could pull you back, but love isn't carried by one heart alone. I watched us, the laughter faded, I felt the air turn cold and thin. I tried to hold every second before the world decided to give in. I whispered promises to the wind that it wouldn't take you away, but love doesn't bend to whispers, it falls in its own way. I stayed through the tremors of doubt, through the shaking silent cries. I held the pieces carefully while they slipped from your eyes. Tell me, did you feel it too? Or did you hide it better than I could? I was holding us together with trembling hands while you were learning how to leave. I watched us fall slowly, every moment a tiny crack. I tried to hold the ground beneath us, but love was never coming back. I watched us fall slowly, pretending the sky wouldn't break. I was fighting for what was left, while you quietly let go of fate. I learned how to laugh. I knew something was wrong in the way you smiled, like it took effort just to stay a while. You Words were careful, measured thin, like you didn't want to let me in. You stood beside me close enough, but distance filled the space you touched. I felt the weight before it fell, but I stayed anyway, I couldn't tell. I watched your love lose altitude, heard the cracks in everything you said. Still I told myself this was just a phase. Still I chose hope over what I read. I saw the signs, I felt the shift, but loving you was a risk I lived. I didn't leave when I had the chance. I stayed to watch the balance bend. I stayed for the collapse, when the walls began to shake. I felt the end inside my chest, but I couldn't walk away. I stayed for the collapse, even when I knew the cost. I was holding on to something you had already lost. I learned the sound of your retreat in the way you spoke but wouldn't meet my eyes when things got real too fast. You talked about the future in the past. I carried conversations on my own, answered questions you never posed. I loved you loudly in quiet rooms while you were learning how to let go. I told myself love takes time, that patience fixes broken things, but patience turned into silence, and silence into suffering. I bent until I couldn't stand, called it love, called it understand. I stayed when leaving felt like truth, because losing you felt worse than proof. I stayed for the collapse, while pretending we were strong. I felt the ground give way beneath every time you proved me wrong. I stayed for the collapse, with hope hanging by a thread. I was fighting for tomorrow while you were already ahead. Some endings don't explode, they slowly erase you. Do you remember when we were easy, when love didn't feel like defense? Before I measured every sentence, before affection felt expensive, I stayed loyal to a memory of who you used to be. I love the echo of your heart, even when it stopped choosing me. I blamed myself for the distance, thought maybe I needed less. But love shouldn't feel like shrinking just to pass someone's test. I stayed while the ceiling caved, told myself we'd still be safe, standing in a burning house, calling the smoke just a doubt. I felt the tremors every night, heard goodbye in every fight, but I stayed because leaving felt like admitting we were done. I thought if I endured enough, you'd remember how to love. But love doesn't return just because you refuse to run. Tell me, did you feel it slipping too, or did comfort make it easy to lose? I was holding us together with fear, while you were quietly disappearing. I stayed for the collapse, every night I couldn't rest. I knew we were falling apart. I just didn't know what was left. I stayed for the collapse because hope wouldn't let me go. But hope doesn't stop the breaking, it just makes it hurt more slow. I learned how to love unfinished, how to wait without reply. I learned how to stay loyal while watching feelings die. You said nothing's wrong so easily. I nodded like I agree, but my heart kept count of every time you chose silence over me. I wasn't asking for perfection, just effort that felt real. But love shouldn't feel like guessing, wondering how you feel. I stayed for the collapse till it lived inside my bones. I protected you from pain by breaking on my own. I thought strength meant staying, thought love meant seeing it through. But love shouldn't feel like mourning someone standing next to you. I stayed when leaving was kinder. I hoped when hope was thin. I kept preparing for the ending while still letting you in. I stayed for the collapse till there was nothing left to save. I was guarding what we had while you were walking away. I stayed for the collapse till my heart finally cracked. Some endings don't arrive suddenly, they slowly push you back. Now I stand among the quiet of every I knew something was wrong in the way you smiled, like it took effort just to stay a while. Your words were careful, measured thin, like you didn't want to let me in. You stood beside me close enough, but distance filled the space you touched. I felt the weight before it fell, but I stayed anyway, I couldn't tell. I watched your love lose altitude, heard the cracks in everything you said. Still I told myself this was just a phase. Still I chose hope over what I read. I saw the signs, I felt the shift, but loving you was a risk I lived. I didn't leave when I had the chance. I stayed to watch the balance bend. I stayed for the collapse when the walls began to shake. I felt the end inside my chest, but I couldn't walk away. I stayed for the collapse even when I knew the cost. I was holding on to something you had already lost. I learned the sound of your retreat in the way you spoke but wouldn't meet my eyes when things got real too fast. You You talked about the future in the past. I carried conversations on my own, answered questions you never posed. I loved you loudly in quiet rooms while you were learning how to let go. I told myself love takes time, that patience fixes broken things. But patience turned into silence, and silence into suffering. I bent until I couldn't stand, called it love, called it understand. I stayed when leaving felt like truth, because losing you felt worse than proof. I stayed for the collapse while pretending we were strong. I felt the ground give way beneath every time you proved me wrong. I stayed for the collapse with hope hanging by a thread. I was fighting for tomorrow while you were already ahead. Some endings don't explode, they slowly erase you. Do you remember when we were easy, when love didn't feel like defense? Before I measured every sentence, before affection felt expensive, I stayed loyal to a memory of who you used to be. I love the echo of your heart, even when it stopped choosing me. I blame myself for the distance, thought maybe I needed less. But love shouldn't feel like shrinking just to pass someone's test. I stayed while the ceiling caved, told myself we'd still be safe, standing in a burning house, calling the smoke just a doubt. I felt the tremors every night, heard goodbye in every fight. But I stayed because leaving felt like admitting we were done. I thought if I endured enough, you'd remember how to love. But love doesn't return just because you refuse to run. Tell me, did you feel it slipping too? Or did comfort make it easy to lose? I was holding us together with fear while you were quietly disappearing. I stayed for the collapse. Every night I couldn't rest. I knew we were falling apart, I just didn't know what was left. I stayed for the collapse because hope wouldn't let me go. But hope doesn't stop the breaking, it just makes it hurt more slow. I learned how to love unfinished, how to wait without reply. I learned how to stay loyal while watching feelings die. You said nothing's wrong so easily. I nodded like I agreed, but my heart kept count of every time you chose silence over me. I wasn't asking for perfection, just effort that felt real. But love shouldn't feel like guessing or wondering how you feel. I stayed for the collapse till it lived inside my bones. I protected you from pain. I learned how to love in caution, how to hold my heart halfway. I stopped asking where you were going, afraid you'd finally say that you were already gone, that you stayed out of habit, not me, that love became something heavy you didn't want to carry with me. I watched the space between us grow and called it time or stress, but deep inside I knew the truth. We were running on emptiness. I was waiting for the fall, because I felt it in my bones. Love doesn't fade this quietly, unless one heart's already gone. I stayed when leaving was kinder. I hoped when hope was thin. I kept preparing for the ending, while still letting you in. Scared you wouldn't reach your hand. I was waiting for the fall, because I felt myself alone. I wasn't losing you suddenly, I was losing us slow. So here I stand among the wreckage of everything I tried to say. I didn't fall without warning, I just stayed too long in faith. Next time love starts shaking ground, because love shouldn't feel like standing still, waiting for the fall. Hope doesn't stop gravity, it just makes it hurt more when you hit. I learned how to love in caution, how to hold my heart halfway. I stopped asking where you were going, afraid you'd finally say that you were already gone, that you stayed out of habit, not need. That love became something heavy you didn't want to carry with me. I watched the space between us grow and called it time or stress. But deep inside I knew the truth, we were running on emptiness. I was waiting for the fall, because I felt it in my bones. Love doesn't fade this quietly, unless one heart's already gone. I stayed when leaving was kinder. I hope when hope was thin, I kept preparing for the ending, while still letting you in. I was waiting for the fall, and now I finally understand. I wasn't scared of hitting bottom, I was scared you wouldn't reach your hand. I was waiting for the fall, because I felt myself alone. I wasn't losing you suddenly, I was losing us slow. So here I stand among the wreckage of everything I tried to save. I didn't fall without warning, I just stayed too long in faith. Next time love starts shaking ground, I won't wait to feel it all, because love shouldn't feel like standing still, waiting for the fall. I remember the way you leaned on my shoulder, like the world was lighter when I stood still. You said my name like it was a promise, but promises fade when hearts don't feel. I traced your doubts with trembling fingers, covered your fears when you couldn't breathe. I told myself love means staying, even when you stopped choosing me. The nights grew longer, colder, quieter. Your words became short, your eyes looked away. I kept fixing cracks you never noticed, kept believing you'd come back someday. I swallowed my questions, buried my pride, held all the hope you left behind. I stayed when leaving felt kinder, I broke so you wouldn't have to try. I carried us alone through storms you never felt. I held the love, the weight, the blame, while you saved yourself. I carried us alone when you dropped every part. I was fighting for a future while you were already gone in your heart. I learned your silence like a language. Every pause said more than truth. You said you were just tired lately, but I was tired of losing you. I planned tomorrows you never asked for, built a home inside my chest. I was loving you in chapters while you closed the book at the end. I blamed myself for every distance, thought if I changed you'd finally stay. I bent until I almost vanished, still watched you slowly walk away. I carried your doubts like they were mine, protected your leaving with every lie. I stayed faithful to what we were while you already said goodbye. I carried us alone when love became one-sided pain. I held your heart with bleeding hands while you felt nothing changed. I carried us alone, every tear, every fall. I was loving us for two while you loved nothing at all. And maybe that's the truth I fear the most. I wasn't too much.